Okay guys, so much like I said how I would start doing more of these how I would handle certain properties coming into the MCU or being rebooted outside of it, the next one that was highly requested was how I would handle Venom in the MCU. Now of course previously I handled how I would handle Norman Osborn in the MCU. So let's just get right into this one. Now keep in mind that this isn't related to the previous videos I've done. So if some of the stuff contradicts stuff in the, ones I'm going to do in the future, or if it contradicts stuff I've said in the Spider-Man videos, that's because this is just how I would handle each one independently and not as a whole entire shared universe, although that would be another series within itself where I could build out my own. So I would actually plant the early seeds in Avengers 4, which is of course originally known as Avengers Infinity War, but for all intents and purposes we're going to stick with Avengers 4. And in that movie, the Mad Titan Thanos would have a brand new army. Now this army could be various other things that they've done out there, maybe he even brings back the Chitauri, but this time they are enhanced with a certain black substance known as the black goo. It doesn't originally have a name yet, it doesn't have anything like that, that's all it is. And this substance on the Chitauri or whatever alien invading force, that's cannon fodder for the Avengers to fight is out there, is enhancing their abilities and being able to make sure that they can communicate with one another as a sort of hive mind. Now they're able to do this through a queen hive. So essentially I would set up that the symbiotes are all still part of this giant hive mind that is on this planet. And this planet is kind of like Ego, the living planet, where everything is one. It is actually a living, breathing thing. Everything on it, the entire ecosystem, is all tied together. And Thanos has captured this and is completely abusing its power, bending the will of the planet and everything that's on it to serve his purpose, aka become a mindless drone army in order to be able to do what he needs it to. Now at the same time, we see that the people on Xandar Prime have been messing around with various technology aspects. This includes them messing with their Infinity Gem, which obviously Thanos is after. Now, one of the things that they've had in their vault is a piece of this planet that was long rumored to be extinct. Of course, Thanos hasn't, he's kind of just been keeping it, but they realized that the thing is acting up. Almost like it's been awoken in some sort of super crazy, like rampage way. It just wants to get out. Like it's sentient, clearly. And they believe that this is a reaction to how these things are suddenly all out here. They're attacking, they're enhancing the Chitauri, and they believe it to be evil. Now, all these guys out there, they're doing their thing, they're battling, everything is going on. And, on Xandar Prime, everything is about to go down. Thanos is attacking, the alien invasion is here, they gotta run. It's now or never. As Thanos is getting that Infinity Stone that he needs, literally everything is just shattering. You see in the distance giant lasers, the planet is about to go. It's gone. Like in the distance it's gone, the giant, flames flying towards them. We see that the glass on the symbiote cracks, and it ends up jumping onto Peter Parker, who's there with the Avengers. They don't really have time to deal with it right now. They just kind of run, get into the spaceship, the Quinjet, the Space Quinjet, whatever the hell they're going to have, and just blast off. By the time anybody notices, Peter's entire suit has now changed. It's all black, and this symbiote is actually working with him. He says he feels stronger. He says he feels better. And they're like, look, we don't have time right now, okay? We would study this, but you got to take this off. Except he can't. He cannot get rid of the suit. I mean, it's just kind of on him. He's like, well, this is kind of a problem, so I guess we're going to figure out what to do with this, but for now, we got to deal with everything else. Cue in the rest of the movie, whatever that is. I haven't really thought that out yet, but at the end of it, they do figure out that this symbiote is, susceptible to sound waves, but only a certain frequency that the Nova people have. And once the planet of the symbiotes is saved, they release the specimen back, they're like, okay, this is it, this is good, this planet, we need to let it live in peace. This can't happen again. We see that this creature right here is honestly a good creature. The only reason it starts to act bad is if it's, one, separated from its host, which is the planet. The closer it is, the more normal it can live. But the further away it gets, it starts to go crazy. So keep it here, and everybody agrees we're going to wipe this planet's existence from the archives. It's gone. No one's going to know about it. It has to remain a secret. Unfortunately for them, they didn't realize that by the time they were leaving, that a piece of the symbiote did stick around. It stuck around on the side of the ship, and as they're going back, down to Earth and everything, they eventually get off. We got the little post-credit scene. There's probably like 5 or 6 scenes. Who knows how many they're going to have. But we see that one of them is the black symbiote, the black goo, and it just kind of falls off the Avengers Tower down into the streets of New York. Next up, cue in the Homecoming sequel, which is due only a few months after Avengers 4. Now that movie literally takes place only about a couple of weeks after. We see Peter is back home. He can't believe what's happening. His world has literally been flipped upside down. He's been to space now. He's fought aliens, all these things. And the encounter with a symbiote has kind of opened up his mind. So he's out there, he's swinging around New York, and he ends up facing one of his villains. This one, I would make him Mysterio. Now, Mysterio, being the master of special effects, is going to play tricks on Peter Parker. Of course, he's messing with his mind and everything like that. He's using special effects, and Peter is finding it harder and harder to concentrate. Almost like since the symbiote has been gone, he's been missing a piece of himself. Like he feels like he needs to reconnect with it. He loved the power he felt. He loved how it made him feel, how strong he felt. And he still doesn't really realize how strong he is as Spider-Man. And unfortunately, due to what's going on with him, we know that Spider-Man has to pull his punches. He ends up hurting Mysterio so bad, almost shattering all of his bones and literally putting him in the hospital. And at this moment, Peter Parker realizes that the power he has, something is seriously wrong with him. He needs to take a step back and really see what is happening with him. He's going to go into the lab, look at his results. He feels like he's been affected in a very, very weird way. At this same time, there is the rumors now and the legend of Spider-Man have really taken off, and now he's become a household name. He's New York's favorite hero. Everybody's talking about him. Who is this Spider-Man? What is he? Can anybody stop him? What is he gonna do? We have the Bugle out there. They're putting on, like BuzzFeed things, top 15 things you might not know about the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, top 15 things you hate about him, all that stuff. And we see that it's taken the attention of a particular person out there called Kraven the Hunter. Now, Kraven himself really wants to hunt this Spider-Man because he doesn't feel that he can go after some of these other people that are out there, like the Avengers, because these guys seem to be a little more protected, and he doesn't really have interest in them since they're not really animal per se. But this Spider-Man has him intrigued. So he comes to New York, he's ready to sniff him out, more or less, how to say it easier. He's ready to hunt Spider-Man, and he ends up finding him pretty easily. He's the local hero. Spider-Man not being able to focus the news about him getting out there and how he literally almost killed one of his villains. Now the city's kind of turning on him. They're kind of looking at him in a negative light, and they kind of lead Kraven just right to him, and Kraven absolutely demolishes Peter. Like, I'm talking, he's almost an inch away from killing him, and in the last second, as he's about to drive that spear through him, we just see this black goo out of nowhere. It's been attracted to Peter Parker. They've been trying to almost find each other, and it just gets on him, transforms into the black suit, does like a kick up, absolutely just demolishes Kraven right there, and escapes before he can do further damage, as he just feels lucky enough to be able to escape with his life from this guy hunting him. Peter goes back home, and he decides that it's time to deal with this suit, figure out what it is. He goes to the Avengers, there's Captain America, there's, Tony Stark. He's like, guys, something weird's happened. I know we decided that the symbiote was going to be left behind, but somehow it found me. I swear to God, I didn't bring it here. I didn't steal it, anything. Mr. Stark, don't, yell at me. And they're like, yeah, we know. We scanned everybody thoroughly. How the hell did this happen? And they're like, well, do you feel any different? I mean, we saw what happened with you. We saw what you did to Mysterio, but we understand, you don't have full control of your powers. Look at Scarlet. She was once like that too. She had to be locked down. We understand where you're coming from. So they're not understanding yet that this was the side effects of the symbiote. And lo and behold, he's not going to tell them. He started feeling these feelings of doubt or anything like that. Well, because he doesn't want the symbiote gone. But two, because it's starting to affect him in a negative way. Now remember, the symbiote is still a good guy. It's a good thing. It's a good creature. Unfortunately, it's driven crazy because it's far away from its hive mind. It can't communicate with it. So it's starting to get more violent. It's kind of like if you take a human and take them away from anybody for a period of time and then start giving them less water and less food. You're going to absolutely start going insane, talking to yourself, going mad and crazy. That's how the symbiote is reacting. Unfortunately, the piece of the symbiote that attached itself to Peter Parker wanted to stay with him because it saw the world he can give it. It wanted to explore this new world because it's never seen anything like that. And unfortunately, now that it's so far away, it is taking the effects of being evil. So in the movie, they decide, okay, you can keep this. Plus, hey, it's the black suit. It's a good look for you. But you got to restore your PR, man. So you got to go out there. You got to call out Kraven. And you're going to have to just fight him. Like, there's nothing else you can really do. You also got to go out there and tell the city that what happened was an honest mistake. And you have to do it in a good way because the city needs you. Look at what's happened to it. And now that Spider-Man's been so occupied with this that he hasn't had time, that the city kind of sees him as a quote-unquote villain, the city's just kind of gone to hell. So he's really got to go out there. He's going to make an example of Kraven. He's going to defeat him. Be like, if you're coming after me, you better be ready. But the city needs a protector, and that is me. I must have messed up before. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to own up to my mistakes. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be a good person. So enter the final battle. Obviously Spider-Man is going to win. We're going to see Kraven is locked up. And Peter Parker has this suit. The movie ends. He still has the suit. The setup for the third movie is that the suit is now still a part of him. So that's going to be the default costume going into the third movie.